Hello and welcome. It's the end of September. I'm going to cut straight to the chase here. I'm giving up part of the allotment that I have. We'll come on to the reasons why in a minute. What have I got at the minute? I've got half a plot here I've had for about 10 years. I took on 2 half plots next door a year and a half ago, March, April 2023. Which bit am I going to give up? If you're eagle-eyed and a regular viewer, you've probably spotted it already. Am I going to give up half plot that I've had for 10 years with the established fruit trees and a beautiful shed/slash greenhouse at the back? Not a chance. Am I going to give up the half plot in the middle? So I've got half a plot here, something that isn't mine, and another half plot over there. Not really. And I fixed the shed roof at the back this year. Or the half plot furthest away. It's got no shed. It's got a buddleia, it's got some rhubarb, raspberries and currants. Of course, if I'm going to give up part of the allotment that I have, it's going to be that half plot furthest away over there. So why am I giving up a third of what I've got? I took on these 2 half plots. Great opportunity right next to the plot I already had. When would that opportunity arise again? It takes a lot of time and effort to maintain 1.5 plots part-time on a weekend. I've got a full-time job, so a lot of time spent trimming and weeding and maintaining it, and it looks alright, it looks maintained, right? But there's a lot of time trimming, weeding, maintaining. Maybe I'm not spending enough time on the crops, and I know it's been a tough season with the weather and slugs, etc. Back of my mind too, I haven't had enough time to make as many videos this year. Is it spoiling my enjoyment? Am I getting too stressed out with it? I know if you're a regular viewer, you'll be thinking, come on Dave, you can do this. And I do like a challenge. Maybe I've passed the challenge in terms of, look, kept it maintained for a year and a half. Does it look any better when I've finished with it? Anyway, are all of those enough of a reason by themselves to go up a third of what I've got? So I'm just a normal person, and normal person things happen in my life as much as they do in yours. In the past 5 years since I've had this channel, a few things have happened to me. So I could have made videos with those pictures as a thumbnail. Attracted all the doom scrolls looking for some bad news. What you will not get from my channel is clickbait. If I make a video, I hope you get more than you expected from it rather than less. I like to sort of tell stories and, try and make kind of fun videos, if you like, interesting videos. Although those things happen to me, they're just it's worrying how many times I've ended up in hospital, but put that to one side. Things like that happen. They're not central to the allotment story. Why would I lead with that? You're not here to watch all that nonsense. I don't know why you're here watching this nonsense, but you are, and it's not. So why would I lead with any of those? It's not what I'm about. But something happened on the 6th of July this year that cemented my decision to give up part of what I've got. So as I was driving my son back to work, doing 65 miles an hour down the A1, I wasn't feeling very well. Suddenly, without warning, I passed out, unconscious, doing 65 miles an hour on what's effectively a motorway. Somehow, we ended up safely on a grass verge. No harm done to the car, no harm done to me or my son. Well, let's face it, if I'd have set off 2 minutes later, earlier, there'd have been more traffic, just any of those variables were different, I could or should have been dead along with my son. So that's a near-death experience, enough for you to contemplate life and what you're wasting your time on. Do I need a third of allotment plot. It's taken a lot of time. But also I've been undergoing a lot of tests on the back of this. We've had ECGs, ultrasounds. There's nothing wrong with my heart really. No cardiac issues. The heart itself is healthy. It's doing what it should do, right? It wasn't a heart attack. Please don't worry about this. But they did find some what's called ectopic heartbeats, extra heartbeats. I had a 3-day ECG and they picked up 400 extra heartbeats in those 3 days, which isn't a crazy amount of heartbeats, right? So they're gonna implant something in my chest called, it's called a loop implant, right? To monitor the heart over a longer period of time, that will feed back any issues, or if there's anything underlying that wasn't picked up. It's not a big operation, right? I'm needle phobic, so I'm petrified of it, and it's due very, very soon. But it's not major surgery, don't worry about this, right? But because I passed out while driving, unexplained, I can't drive until they find a reason for it, or they prove that it's like a one-off. It's not going to happen again, right? So I've been walking here since July. Not as if the walk itself is actually terrible. Half of it I can cut through a park. The other half's just sort of a fairly busy road heading out of town. But I can't bring my tools, I can't bring building equipment. There's a reason why all my potatoes are still here. They're very heavy to carry home. It's a 5-minute drive versus a 20-minute walk. It shouldn't be the end of things, but it's just another reason why giving up a third of what I've got, which is extra work, which I don't really need, has been the decision. So hopefully this loop implant that I'm having put in will enable me to get my license back quicker, because it'll prove that there's nothing really happening and that whatever happened was a one-off. So those, the notion is that those extra heartbeats came all of a sudden, or at once, or in a different pattern or something, caused change in my blood pressure, which made me sort of pass out. So, decision made. Look, it's a lot of extra work on the plot anyway. I was really thinking about it anyway. This whole incident, contemplate life, plus I have to walk here all the time. So, in August, I think it was, I gave my notice to give up that third of the plot as from the 1st of October. So we've got some tidying up to do. So what do we need to do before I vacated that plot? We had the plot inspections on the 14th of September. There was some wood at the front and the back and some concrete and stuff, so I needed to sort of sort all that out. So like I say, I can't drive at the minute, so I couldn't transport that wood off site. I did take some sort of chunky bits of wood, sort of more the thick branches and stuff. Made a little bug hotel near the pond. Maybe that would be good for frogs, for the pond, who knows. So I left with a big pile of wood. So I don't like having too many fires, it's not particularly good for the environment, but needs must, I need to get that wood moved really quickly. Have a quick fire, which went as well as fires can. So there's a glass frame made out of old windows that I wanted to move from that third of a plot that I'm giving up, because I want to reuse them. So just dismantling that, not too big of an issue. But let's check in with Dave while he's doing that, see how he's feeling about the whole thing. I think I feel alright about it actually. It's easy to take down, but yeah, no, I'm alright with it. I'm alright with it. Slightly less alright with it now. Forgot how heavy them paving slabs are. Still, all good, all good. Right, that wasn't too bad, didn't take too long, maybe half an hour. No weeds there, so it's all nice and bare, I guess is the word, empty. I think that's what I'm going to have to get used to when I remove the other things. Remove the tomatoes, dig up the potatoes, move the frame, move some apple trees. I'm going to get used to it being empty, I guess, ready for the next person. Yeah. That wasn't too bad. Gradually do the next bits and bobs over the coming week. So I had some tomato plants on that plot, but when I gave notice I thought the tomatoes would all be ripe by the 1st of October. They weren't. There was some ripe ones on it which I took off, but there was a lot of unripe tomatoes on those plants, so I did contemplate taking all the tomatoes off and ripening them at home, but I decided to pull up those tomato plants, ripen the tomatoes on the plants whilst hanging upside down in the shed. So I've got some more tomatoes, more cherry tomatoes, like bush type plants. So again, take the tomatoes that were ripe off, hang the plants in the shed, and then I need to dismantle that frame. This string's like compostable, so it didn't take long, just cut the strings, take that frame down. So I've got a metal frame that I moved across there earlier this year. It was supposed to be covered in beans and sweet peas, but because of slugs it wasn't as successful as I thought. So moved that frame, cut the sweet peas back, and yeah, we got our last sweet peas of the season. So there were some potatoes still in the ground on that plot. Time was running out. The plants were dying back, and I'd already dug some up and they looked okay, but time to dig all those potatoes up to sort of help clear the plot. Let's check in with Dave again, see how he's feeling now. I'm not sure how I'm feeling at the minute, to be honest. I've done most of the clearance, just a bit of tidying up and the fruit trees left to move, so it's looking quite empty at the minute. Not sort of desolate, just sort of more of a blank canvas ready for the next person who's going to take it on. Any sadness though is countered at the minute by some of the finest potatoes we've seen so far this year. Well done, Pentland Dell. Right, let's keep going. So I took the opportunity to take some golden raspberries. Raspberries drop from raspberry plants and grow on their own, yeah? So I decided to take them golden raspberries, put them on some soil, cover them lightly with soil, as if they drop to the ground themselves. So hopefully I'll have some golden raspberries coming up that I can continue to grow on the 2 half plots that I'm keeping. So what's left on that third plot? There's 3 fruit trees, 2 of which bare root fruit trees that I put in January. They were Christmas presents. I'm trying to be fair in terms of what I leave and what I take from that plot, but I see those trees as mine. I put them in 10 months ago, and I was upfront about what I was taking. When I said I was going to give up the plot, I said, look, I'm taking the frames with me, I'm taking them apple trees with me. All fine, all fine. So lessons learnt from previous times I've tried to move fruit trees. Don't damage the roots, bring as much of the roots as possible. And the roots on those trees looked fine. Maybe now they're not best at the time of year to move them. You're supposed to wait till they're dormant, all the leaves are dropped off, but time was running out, I needed to move them. So I've moved those 2 bare root fruit trees that have only been in the ground 10 months. Moved them to my oldest half a plot. They're now sat either side of the grassy knoll. So the only thing left on that half a plot that I'm giving up, the last thing to move, or potentially move, was the final apple tree. And that was, do I move it or do I not move it? The history of that is, it wasn't doing very well at the back of the plot. I moved it this winter. In doing so, it didn't have very good roots. And to be honest, some of them snapped when I was moving it. Maybe I was slightly careless in moving it, but it wasn't a healthy tree, right? Put it over there, chop the top clean off after some advice from subscribers, and it is growing. It is not dead. It's survived, and myself and a few viewers have kind of become attached to that tree. So my debate internally was, do I just leave it there, because then it might have more chance of survival, but who knows what the new plot owner is going to do. They might want to get rid of it. Plus I've become attached to it. Can I live my life on this 2 half plots and look across at something that I potentially rescued and watch it grow on someone else's plot? Look, become attached to it, but that was maybe part of the reason I wanted to move it. I was very careful. Lessons learned. Dig a big wide area around it. Make sure you take your time, take as many routes as possible. Be careful, be careful. And we have moved it, and it has been relocated, and it's just next to me here. Pride of place at the front of this half plot next door. Myself and another subscriber actually named that tree last week the Ostra Phoenix. It's a beautiful name with obviously a reason behind it. So when you name things, you do become even more attached to things. So we'll all be keeping our fingers crossed for that beautiful apple tree. So how am I feeling about it all now, giving up that half a plot over there? To be honest, at this point in time, that's not my main focus. I'm only focused on one thing, and the one loose end we've got to tie up on this video. Tomorrow I'm going into hospital to have my loop implant inserted. Like I say, it's only a minor operation, but I am petrified, so fingers crossed for that. So I've had my loop implant fitted. Did I hate every minute of it? Yes. Did I get it done? Yes. Sneak peek, sneak peek. Everything is fine, everything is fine. So we're starting to ask ourselves questions now. Have I left that half a plot in a better state than when I took it on? I think so. Would I be happy if I was to take on half a plot and I got that? Yes, I think I would. Life goes on. Have I made the right decision? I'm sure I have. We've got 2 half plots here that I can fully concentrate on and continue to enjoy. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Send me a comment. See you next time. Cheers.